नमस्सर्वेभ्यः। अद्य परमलघु मंजूषायां 13 पाठः। एप्रिल् मासस्य 7 दिनाङ्कः। अद्य वयं स्फोटनिरूपणस्य अध्ययनम् अनुवर्तयामहे। आदौ मङ्गलम्। येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयं। शिवन्नत्वा हि नागेशे नानिन्द्या परमा लघुः वैयाकरणसिद्धान्तमञ्जूषैषा विरच्यते। स्फोटप्रकरणस्य किञ्चित् पुनरावर्तनं कुर्मः। शब्दस्य स्वरूपं किं, कीदृशः शब्दः वाचकः इति विषये अस्माभिः विचार्यमाणम् अस्ति। तत्र अन्येषां दार्शनिकानां मते वर्णाः प्रत्येकं वाचकाः इति वदन्ति, किन्तु तथा सति द्वितीयादिवर्ण उच्चारणस्य वैयर्थ्यम् इति कारणेन वर्णानां प्रत्येकं वाचकत्वम् अङ्गीकर्तुं न शक्यते। वर्णसङ्घातः वाचकः अर्थस्य इति चेदपि न युज्यते, यतोहि वर्णाः उच्चरितप्रध्वंसिनः। उच्चारणं यस्मिन् काले भवति क्षणात्मककाले तदुत्तरकाले ध्वंसः एव। अतः द्वितीयवर्णोच्चारणकाले प्रथमवर्णः नष्टः, तृतीयवर्णोच्चारणकाले प्रथमद्वितीयौ नष्टौ इति कारणेन वर्णानां युगपत् सम्भवः एव नास्ति। किञ्च क्षणात्मककालेन उच्चार्यमाणानां वर्णानां प्रत्यक्षत्वमपि न सम्भवति इत्यतः वर्णसङ्घातानां वाचकत्वं नाङ्गीक्रियते। अपि च इको एणचि इत्यादिषु अयं पूर्वः अयं परः इत्यादि प्रत्यक्ष विषयक इदं शब्देन निर्देशः क्रियते, तदपि न युज्यते यदि वर्णाः अथवा वर्णसङ्घातः वाचकः तच्च अनित्यः, नाम उत्पन्नः पुनश्च नश्यति इति यदि स्वीक्रियते तर्हि एतदपि नोपपद्यते इति कारणेन नागेशः तिरस्करोति। तत्र तार्किकाः अनित्याः शब्दाः शब्द अनित्यत्ववादिनः ते त्रेधा अस्य समाधानं वदन्ति। अर्थात् वर्णसङ्घातस्य प्रत्यक्षत्वं नास्ति इति यदुक्तं तद्विषये समाधानत्रयम् उच्यते तार्किकैः। प्रथममस्ति उत्तरोत्तरवर्णे पूर्वपूर्ववर्णवत्वम् अव्यवहितोत्तरत्वसम्बन्धेन गृह्यते इति प्रथमं मतम्। अर्थात् घटशब्दे उच्चारिते घकारः अकारः टकारः अकारः विसर्गः इति पञ्चवर्णाः सन्ति। तत्र घकारोत्तर अकारे पूर्ववर्णवत्वं नाम घकारवत्वम् अव्यवहित उत्तरत्वसम्बन्धेन भवति। पुनश्च टकारे घकारवत्वम् अकारवत्वं च एवमेव। इट्स् अ सीरीज, a link, series of links, a chain. So in each letter we carry all the previous letters through this sambandha, avyavahita uttaratva sambandha iti tesham matam. तत्र नागेशः दोषं प्रदर्शयति। नष्टविद्यमानयोः अयं सम्बन्धः वक्तुम् अशक्यः। द्वितीयः वर्णः नाम अकारः अस्ति, किन्तु पूर्ववर्णः नष्टः। यदि द्वौ अपि वर्णौ स्तः तर्हि तयोः मध्ये कः सम्बन्धः इति वक्तुं शक्यः, अयं पूर्वः अयं परः इति। किन्तु पूर्ववर्णः नास्त्येव, तथा सति सम्बन्धः कथमुच्यते इति कारणेन एतं मतं निराकरोति। शब्दजशब्दन्यायेन अन्तिमवर्ण उच्चारणपर्यन्तमपि पूर्वपूर्ववर्णजाः वर्णाः उत्पद्यमानाः एव भवन्ति। अतः चरमवर्णस्य उच्चारणकाले सम्पूर्णस्य पदस्य प्रत्यक्षत्वं सम्भवति इति द्वितीयं मतम्। तत्र प्रत्यक्षत्वे सम्भवत्यपि अस्तु चर्मवर्णोच्चारणकाले सम्पूर्णस्य पदस्य प्रत्यक्षत्वम् अनेन न्यायेन अङ्गीकर्तुं शक्यं किन्तु पदं तु नष्टं चर्मवर्ण उच्चारणसमनन्तरं पदं तु नष्टं तादृशम् अविद्यमानं पदं शक्तेः आश्रयत्वेन अङ्गीकर्तुं कथं शक्यते इति दोषः यतोहि यदि घटः यदा अस्ति तदैव जलस्य आश्रयः भवितुम् अर्हति जलवान् घटः इति यदि नष्टे घटे अपि आश्रयत्वम् अङ्गीकर्तुं शक्यते तर्हि नष्टो घटः जलवान् इत्याद्यापत्तिः तत्तु केनापि नाङ्गीक्रियते एवमेव यत् पदं नष्टं तत्तु शक्यं शक्तम् अस्मिन् अर्थे तस्य शक्तिः इत्यादि कथं वक्तुं शक्यते इति प्रश्नः तृतीयं समाधानम् उच्यते पूर्वपूर्ववर्ण अनुभवजन्य संस्कार सध्रीचीन चरमवर्ण अनुभवतः शाब्दबोधः वर्णाः उत्पन्नाः नष्टाः किन्तु तेषाम् उच्चारणस्य अनुभवेन कश्चित् संस्कारः जायते पूर्वम् उच्चारितानां सर्वेषां वर्णानाम् अनुभवेन जन्यः यः संस्कारः तेन सहितः अन्तिमवर्णस्य यः अनुभवः तद्वारा शाब्दबोधो भवति चरमवर्णः तस्मिन् क्षणे अनुभूयते पूर्वतनवर्णानां सर्वेषामपि संस्कारः विद्यते अतः तेन शाब्दबोधः भवति इति तृतीयं पक्षम् उत्थापयन्ति किन्तु तत्र संस्कारे क्रमः नाङ्गीक्रियते येन क्रमेण अनुभवः तेनैव क्रमेण संस्कारस्य उद्बोधः इति नास्ति यत्र तत्र क्रमराहित्यं संस्कारे इति सर्वैः अङ्गीक्रियते एवञ्च यत्र पदद्वये समानाः वर्णाः भवन्ति यथा सरः रसः सर्वत्रापि रेफा अकार सकार एव विद्यन्ते एवं सति वैपरीत्येन संस्कारस्य उद्बोधः भवति चेत् एकेन पदेन विपरीतस्य अर्थस्य प्रतीतिः स्यात् सरः इत्युक्ते रसपदार्थस्य प्रतीतिः स्यात् अतः एतदपि अङ्गीकर्तुं न शक्यते इति तार्किकमतं निराकरोति तर्हि कः शब्दः वैयाकरणमते शब्दस्य किं स्वरूपम् इति चेत् वाक् चतुर्विधा विद्यते परा पश्यन्ति मध्यमा वैखरी चेति तत्र परा वाक् मूलाधारचक्रे स्थिता तत्र बिन्दुस्वरूपिणी परावाग् इत्युच्यते ततः यदा पवनः नाम वायुः उपरि नाभिपर्यन्तम् आगच्छति तत्र पश्यन्ति इति वाचः उपस्थितिः भवति परावाक् पश्यन्ति वाक् च योगिनां समाधौ एव अनुभवितुं शक्य अस्मादृशानां सामान्यानाम् अनुभव अतीते परा पश्यन्ति इति वाचौ परावाक् समाधौ निर्विकल्पज्ञानस्य विषयः एवं पश्यन्ति इत्येषा समाधौ सविकल्पकज्ञानविषयः तथैव यदा वायुः उपरि आरोहति हृदयं प्रति आगच्छति तत्र मध्यमा इति वाक् विद्यते हृदिस्था सूक्ष्म नाम परश्रवण अगोचर अन्यैः श्रोतुम् अशक्या स्फोटव्यञ्जिका एषा मध्यमा वाक् एव स्फोटम् अर्थवाचकं स्फोटं व्यञ्जयति so it is through the madhyama vak that we understand the spota the word spota and this spota is nitya tasmadeva arthabodhah bhavati iti siddhantah ततोपि उपरि आगच्छता वायुना तत्तत् स्थाने आहतेन ध्वनिः उत्पद्यते parashravana gochara so that produces sound which can be heard by everybody parashravana gochara vaikhari vak ityuchyate satu nirarthaka so that is anitya when the tarkikas are talking about the varna etc so they are all talking at the level of the dhvani which is anitya उच्चार्यते पुनः नश्यति इति किन्तु वस्तुतः अर्थवाचक शब्दः स्फोटः स च नित्यः इति सिद्धान्तः so we will read this last bit again from the moola before moving ahead nanu koyam sphotaha uchyate chaturvidha hi vagasti para pashyanti madhyama vaikhari cha tatra mooladharastha pavana samskari bhuta मूलाधारस्थ शब्द ब्रह्म रूपा स्पंदशून्या बिंदुरूपिणी परा वाक् उच्यते। नाभिपर्यन्तम् आगच्छता तेन वायुना अभिव्यक्ता मनोगोचरीभूता पश्यन्ती वाग् उच्यते। एतद्वयं वाक् ब्रह्मयोगिनां समाधौ निर्विकल्पक सविकल्पक ज्ञानविषयः इत्युच्यते। ततः हृदयपर्यन्तमागच्छता तेन वायुना अभिव्यक्ता तत्तदर्थवाचकस्फोटरूपा श्रोत्रग्रहण अयोग्यत्वेन सूक्ष्मा जपादौ बुद्धिनिर्ग्राह्या मध्यमा वाग् उच्यते। ततः आस्यपर्यन्तम् आगच्छता तेन वायुना ऊर्ध्वम् आक्रामता च मूर्धानम् आहत्य परावृत्य च तत्तत्स्थानेष्वभिव्यक्ता परश्रोत्रेणापि ग्राह्या वैखरी वाग् उच्यते। तदाह परावाङ् मूलचक्रस्था पश्यन्ती नाभिसंस्थिता हृदिस्था मध्यमा ज्ञेया वैखरी कण्ठदेशगा। वैखर्या हि कृतो नादः परश्रवणगोचरः मध्यमया कृतो नादः स्फोटव्यञ्जक उच्यते इति च। युगपदे वा मध्यमा वैखरीभ्यां नाद उत्पद्यते। तत्र मध्यमानादः अर्थवाचकः स्फोटात्मक शब्दव्यञ्जकः। अर्थवाचक स्फोटात्मक शब्दव्यञ्जकः. So when somebody is pronouncing, so the madhyama and vaikhari are produced simultaneously. So it is the madhyama nada which expresses the sphota, which is the actual conveyor of meaning. वैखरी नादः ध्वनिः सकलजनश्रोत्रमात्रग्राह्यः भैर्यादिनादवन् निरर्थकः. Whereas the nada of vaikhari is the external sound which can be perceived through the ears of all people, and it is meaningless. That is, it does not carry or express any meaning, just like the sounds of other sounds, like the sounds of a drum do not carry any meaning. So it is just a sound. Okay. मध्यमानादश्च सूक्ष्मतरः कर्णपिधाने जपादौ च सूक्ष्मतरवायुव्यङ्ग्यः शब्दब्रह्मरूपस्फोटव्यञ्जकश्च. Whereas it is the madhyama nada which is heard during japa. Okay, so during japa and other practices, the sound which is produced internally, that is called madhyama, and it is the one which expresses sphota, which is the form of shabda brahma. तादृश मध्यमानाद व्यङ्ग्यः शब्दः स्फोटात्मकः ब्रह्मरूपः नित्यश्च. स्फोटा इज नित्य. तदाह हरिः अनादिनिधनं ब्रह्म शब्दतत्त्वं यदक्षरं विवर्तते अर्थभावेन प्रक्रिया जगतो यतः. So shabdattatvam Brahma. So the ultimate tattva of Shabda is actually the Brahma. Anadi nidhanam, without any beginning or end. Yad aksharam, and without any modification or change. Vivartate arthabhavena prakriya jagato yataha. Yataha yasmat shabdatattvat. So from this shabdatattva Jagataha prakriya, so the entire processes of the world, arthabhavena vivartate, are manifested in the form of the various arthas. So it is a shabda itself which is manifested as artha through the process of vivarta. Atatvikaha anyatha bhavaha vivartaha. So vivarta is a unreal transformation, a transformation which is not real. It appears as something different, but it is actually the original. So the Brahma itself appears in the form of various padarthas. All of them seem to be different from it, but are actually, finally, everything is Brahma. Okay. Agre patamaha. Sacha nama sphotaha, shabda brahma swarupaha sphotaha, yadyapi ekaha akhandascha. Spotaha eka eva, akhandascha. So it is only one. So there are no separate spotas for separate words or anything. Akhandaha, and there are no divisions like the Brahma. So if we understand the principle of the Parabrahma in Vedanta, so it is similar. Ekaha akhandascha. Tatha api padam vakyam ityadi bhasate. Still we do perceive pada vakya etc. Japakusumadi lauhitya pitatvadi vyanjaka uparagavashat lohitaha pitaha sphatikaha iti bhanavat. So sphatikasya nidarshanam Vedantepi prasiddham. So the sphatika, the crystal, the pure sphatika mani does not have any color of its own. Okay? It is completely colorless. Kintu it takes on the colors of whatever is near it, what we call the uparaga. So ragasya samipam. So any colored object which is nearby is reflected or is taken, that color is taken on by sphatika. Yatha japakusumadi. Japakusumam is a flower, a red colored flower, the hibiscus. So lauhitya pitatvadi vyanjaka. Lauhityam nama raktavarnatvam. Pitatvam nama pitavarnatvam ityadi vyanjaka uparaga vashat. So these substances, so substances like japa kusuma, when they are kept near the sphatika they help the sphatika to take on their own colors. Japa kusumadi lauhitya pitatwadi vyanjaka uparagavashat lohitaha pitaha sphatikaha iti bhanavat. Lohita sphatikaha, pitaha sphatikaha, a red crystal or a yellow crystal iti bhasate. So that is experienced. Kintu vastutaha sphatikasya varnaha nasti. So it is not the color of the sphatika. It is only the color of something nearby which is reflected in the sphatika. Similarly, varnadivyangyah, varnarupaha, padarupaha, vakyarupascha. Similarly, the properties of the sound, that is the dhvani, the external sound in the form of varna, pada or vakya is reflected in sphota. Even though the sphota is really one without any divisions, the differences in the sound, the external sound, are reflected onto the sphota, just like the different colors are imposed in the sphatika mani. Yathacha mukhe mani kripana darpana vyanjaka upadhi vashat dairghya vartulatvadi bhanam tadvat. Dvitiyam udaharanam prastoti. Mukhe, mukhasya pratibhimbam pashyamah. Kutra manau drashtum shaknumaha. Kripane, kripanam nama khadgah, khadge drashtum shakyate, darpane drashtum shakyate. So you can see a very clear, very neat examples of the three kinds of mirrors that we have: the plane mirror, the concave, and the convex. Okay, so mani, which is round, so a bead, okay, a reflecting bead is an example of a concave, or is it convex mirror, whereas the kripana, the flat surface of a khadga, the polished surface, so there also you see the reflection, and you see the reflection in a plane mirror. So mani, kripana, darpana, vyanjaka upadhi vashat. So ete sarvepi upadhayah. So these are all external attributes. Tadvashat dairghya vartulatvadi bhanam. So you feel that the face is lengthened in case of a kripana, or it seems round in case of a mani, and it appears as it is in case of the darpana. So different kinds of reflection of the same object. It is the same mukha, but the reflection in the three different things differs. Yathacha mukhe mani kripana darpana vyanjaka upadhi vashat dairghya vartulatvadi bhanam. दैर्घ्यं वा वर्तुलत्वं वा वस्तुतः मुखे नास्ति, तथापि व्यञ्जक उपाधिवशात् मण्यादीनां वशात् भासते. तद्वत् एवमेव स्फोटे, अखण्डे अद्वितीये स्फोटे वर्ण पद वाक्यानां भानं भवति. So we feel the difference between varna, pada, vakya, etc., the various attributes which are actually not present in the sphota. तदुक्तं पदेन वर्णा विद्यन्ते वाक्येष्ववयवा न च वाक्यात् पदानाम् अत्यन्तं प्रविवेको न कश्चन. पदे न वर्णाः विद्यन्ते, एकस्मिन् पदे वर्णानां भेदः नास्ति. वाक्येषु अवयवा न च, वाक्येषु भिन्नाः भागाः तिङन्तं सुबन्तं इत्यादि अवयवाः न सन्ति. वाक्यात् पदानाम् अत्यन्तं प्रविवेको न कश्चन. So there is no way to actually completely distinguish or separate or segregate the various words which form a part of a sentence. So it is a sentence which is one whole, and there is no way to actually make a distinction. Even though the distinction is apparent, vastutah nasti ityarthah. Padena varna vidyante vakyeshvavayava na cha. Vakyat padanam atyantam praviveko na kaschana. इति किंच व्यञ्जकध्वनिगतं कत्वगत्वादिकं स्फोटे भासते व्यञ्जकः यः ध्वनिः so the external sound which expresses this phota or which shows this phota tadgatam katvagatvaadikam the properties of the various letters say kakara akara repha etc sphote bhasate so we do feel these attributes in the sphota bimbagata dharma vaishishtyena प्रतिबिंबस्य लोके अवधारणात् बिंबे ये धर्माः ते तद्धर्मेण सह एव प्रतिबिंबम् अवगम्यते so you cannot see wherever when it is getting reflected you cannot see it without the properties of the reflector अतः व्यञ्जकरूपितया व्यञ्जकरूपितस्यैव स्फटिकादेः भानाच्च स्फटिकमपि कथं भासते व्यञ्जकरूपितः एव भासते यद् व्यञ्जकं समीपे अस्ति तद्रूपितः एव स्फटिकमणिः भासते एवमेव यैः ध्वनिभिः स्फोटः व्यज्यते तद्गत धर्म सहितः एव स्फोटः भासते यथा च एकस्य आकाशस्य आकाश or space is again one okay it's a single undivided space तथापि घटाकाशः महाकाशः इति औपाधिको भेदः but still we make a difference ghatakasha so the space in the ghata or the mahakasha the external space ityevam bhedah kalpyate vastutah akashah ekah akhanda eva tathapi aupadhikah bhedah okay so based on the upadhi we have the various differences yatha cha ekasyaiva chetanasya aupadhikah jiveshwara bhedah similarly the chetana the chaitanya swarupa brahma is one ekasyaiva chetanasya aupadhikah jiveshwara bhedah still we differentiate as jivatma paramatma etc based on the upadhi of having the sharira etc जीवानां च परस्परं भेदः सर्वे जीवात्मानः सन्ति तेषामपि परस्परं भेदः अस्त्येव व्यवहारे अनुभूयते so there is two kinds of sat right the vyavaharika and the paramarthika so all these differences do exist on the plane of vyavahara atah vyavaharikam sat अस्त्येव किन्तु पारमार्थिकतया कुत्रापि भेदः नास्ति सर्वमपि एकमेव इति See, the Vaiyakarana Siddhanta is very similar to the Advaita Siddhanta. The only difference is that we say this Shabda itself is the Brahma, but otherwise everything is the same. Evam sphote vyanjaka dhvanigata katvadi bhanat kakaro buddhaha iti aupadhikaha bheda vyavaharaha. Sphote. So similarly in the sphota vyanjaka dhvanigata katvadi bhanat. So based on the upadhi, based on the dhvani, the sounds which express this phota, kakaro buddhaha. Tatra varnanam bhedaha jnayate. Kakaraha, gakaraha, chakaraha ityadi. Upadhikaha bheda vyavaharaha. So by this, the words may all seem different. So there are different words with different meanings, different avayavas, different vakyas. But finally, everything is the same. Upadhikaha bhedaha ityatra upadhihi katvadihi भिन्नः उपाधेयस्तु आकाशस्फोटादिः एक एव इति तात्पर्यम् so what is this aupadhika bheda the upadhi the qualifying attributes such as katvadihi dhvanishu bhinnaah dhvanayah so the various sounds which make up the language they are different okay so they are the upadhi kintu upadheyah so the one which is actually reflecting these upadhis the one which takes on these upadhis akasha sphotadihi eka eva so whether it is akasha or sphota or brahma the chetana all these are one okay so due to the difference in upadhis they appear to be different iti tatparyam padavakyayoho sakhandatva pakshetu so this is the final siddhanta so madhye sakhandatva pakshe so when we accept at the vyavaharika level at least we accept the sakhandatva paksha that is bhedaah santi ityukte vakye त्रीणि पदानि सन्ति पदेषु एतावन्तः वर्णाः सन्ति इत्यादि सखण्डत्वपक्षः अङ्गीकृतः यदा तदा तु अन्तिमवर्णव्यङ्ग्यः स्फोटः एक एव So then what do we say? Okay, at the final level, sphota is only one. But at the vyavaharika level, what is it that expresses the meaning? Iti chet, padavakyayo sakhandatva pakshetu antima varna vyangyaha sphotaha. Sphotaha antimena varnena vyangyaha. अर्थात पदस्फोटपक्षे पदस्य अन्तिमवर्णेन व्यङ्ग्यः वाक्यस्फोटपक्षेऽपि अन्तिमः वर्णः वाक्यस्य यः अन्तिमवर्णः तेन व्यङ्ग्यः स्फोटः पूर्वपूर्ववर्णस्तु तात्पर्यग्राहकः तर्हि पूर्वे वर्णाः किमर्थाः इति चेत् तात्पर्यग्राहकः इत्युच्यते सो तेषाम् अस्य वर्णस्य अन्तिमवर्णस्य अत्र तात्पर्यम् इति बोधयितुम् अन्येषां वर्णानां प्रयोगः क्रियते न्यायनये चित्रगुः इत्यादौ चित्रादिपदवत् so this is not our siddhanta so since we are the akhandatvavadinah तथापि यदि न्यायमते समाधानं वक्तव्यं तर्हि एवं रीत्या वक्तव्यं तत्र तात्पर्यग्राहकत्वम् इति तु नैयायिकैः अङ्गीक्रियते एव यतोहि तेषां समासे शक्तिः नाङ्गीक्रियते so according to the naiyayikas they do not accept a separate shakti in samasa say for example in samasa like rajyah purushah वैयाकरणमते समासे पृथक् शक्तिः राजन् शब्दस्य पृथक् शक्तिः पुरुष शब्दस्य पृथक् शक्तिः राजपुरुषः इति समासस्य पृथक् शक्तिः इति वैयाकरणानां मतं नैयायिकानां मते तु पृथक् शक्तिः नाङ्गीक्रियते तत्र तु लक्षणा इति अङ्गीक्रियते उत्तरपदे लक्षणा so the uttarapada itself expresses the meaning of the samasa through lakshana tatra purvapadam tatparyagrahakam इति वदन्ति चित्रगुः इत्यादौ चित्रादिपदवत् चित्राः गावः यस्य सः चित्रगुः he who possesses multicolored cows इत्यर्थः तत्र गोशब्दादेव चित्रगवा स्वामी इत्यर्थः प्रतीयते इति नैयायिकाः so they say that from the word go itself we get the entire meaning of the word which means he who possesses multicolored cows चित्राणां गवां स्वामी इत्येषः अर्थः गोशब्दादेव बुध्यते इति नैयायिकाः तर्हि चित्र इति पदं किमर्थम् इति चेत् तात्पर्यग्राहकं गोशब्दस्य अस्मिन् अर्थे लक्षणा इति अर्थे चित्रपदं तात्पर्यग्राहकम् इति ते वदन्ति तया एव रीत्या so using the same logic we will have to say antima varna vyangyaha sphotaha purva purva varnaah tatparyagrahakaah iti sakhandatva pakshe siddhanta pakshah sah na so the siddhanta is not that paksha at the vyavaharika level if we are accepting that also then what should be said is that antima varna vyangyaha sphotaha natu varnaah pratyekam vachakaah ityapi na वर्णसङ्घातः वाचकः इत्यपि न अपि तु अन्तिमवर्णः एव वाचकः तत्र पूर्वपूर्ववर्णाः तात्पर्यग्राहकाः इति वक्तव्यं किन्तु वस्तुतः सखण्डत्वं नास्ति पदेन वर्णा विद्यन्ते वाक्येष्ववयवा न च इति उक्तत्वात् अखण्डं वाक्यम् एव स्फोटव्यञ्जकम् अथवा अर्थवाचकम् इति सिद्धान्तः okay so this is about स्फोट ध्वनिस्तु द्विविधः Prakrito Vaikritascha. So he now talks about the sounds which can be heard. They are of two kinds. Prakritaha Vaikritascha. So Prakrita and Vaikrita. Prakrita Prakritya Agatam Prakritam. Vaikritam Vikritya Agatam Vaikritam. So Prakritya Arthabodhanechaya Swabhavena Vajataha Spotavyanjakaha Prathamaha Prakritaha. So Prakritya Nama Swabhavena. So naturally अर्थबोधनेच्छया with the desire to convey meaning yaha dhvanihi jayate sayeva sphotavyanjakah so it is that sound which expresses sphota and it is called as the prakrita dhvani so this prakrita dhvani comes through the madhyama vak as we have seen and it can be heard such sound can be heard during processes like japa japadishu saha grahyah bhavati Tasmat prakrita jataha. So born from the prakrita sound, vikriti vishishtaha. So which is a modification. That is the prakrita sound does not have any bhedas or difference. Vikriti vishishtaha. Katva gatvadi vikaraihi vishishtaha. Chirasthai. So that which exists, that which is heard and stays for long. Nivartakaha. And which is taken back, that is which is destroyed, that it is born and destroyed. Utpatti vinashah iti yat kathyate tadrishah dhvanihi vaikritikah ityuchyate. So dhvani or sound is of two kinds. Prakrita dhvanihi sphotam vyanjayati, prakrita jatah vaikrita dhvanihi artham na bodhayati. So it just helps in understanding the sphota. हरिरप्याह हरिः नाम भर्तृहरिः स्फोटस्य ग्रहणे हेतुः प्राकृतो ध्वनिरिष्यते स्फोटस्य ग्रहणे ग्रहणे नाम अभिव्यक्तौ इति उच्यते ग्रहणे अभिव्यक्तौ इत्यर्थः स्फोटस्य अभिव्यक्तौ हेतुः नाम कारणं प्राकृतो ध्वनिः so it is the prakrita dhvani which helps in expressing or understanding sphota शब्दस्य ऊर्ध्वम् अभिव्यक्तेः ऊर्ध्वं वृत्तिभेदे तु वैकृताः ध्वनयः समुपोहन्ते स्फोटात्मा तैर्न भिद्यते so शब्दस्य अभिव्यक्तेः ऊर्ध्वं after the expression of this sound वृत्तिभेदे तु due to the various vrittis vritti namaka iti agre vadati this vritti is not the shakti lakshana vyanjana which we saw. This is a different vritti. He is talking about the vritti which is the speed of sound. Okay, here not the padapadartha sambandhaha na. Vritti bhede tu vaikritaha dhvanayaha samupohante sphotatma tair na bhidyate. Iti. Shabdasya abhivyaktehe urdhvam. So after the sound is expressed externally, vaikritaha dhvanayaha jayante iti sheshaha. Vritti bhede iti. So what is this vritti bheda? Abhyasarthe druta vrittihi madhya vai chintane smrita shishyānām upadeshartham vrittirishta vilambita. So the external sounds are expressed in three speeds. Okay. So druta vrittihi. Druta is the fast where we recite something very fast. Abhyasarthe. It is used for practice. So whenever this is mainly for the oral learning, say the Vedas or any of this. So when you are repeating and when you are trying to practice it, we go very fast. Say vridhirade jate guna eko guna vridhi nadhatu lopa ardhatuke ityevam druta vrittihi abhyasarthe madhya vai chintane smrita yada tu tasya vishaye chintanam kriyate arthabodhartham. So to think about something for understanding the meaning, madhya vrittihi. So then we use the medium pace. Say vridhiradaich. Evam. Shishyanam upadeshartham vrittirishta vilambita. Yada tu anyebhyaha upadeshaha kriyate. So when you are trying to teach somebody else, vilambita vrittihi ishta. So you use a slower pace so that they can grasp and repeat it properly. So the vritti bheda is these three vrittis: druta, madhya and vilambita. Abhyasarthe druta vrittihi madhya vai chintane smrita shishyanam upadeshartham vrittirishta vilambita iti. Tisrashu vrittishu etasu druta madhya vilambitasu vrittishu samupohante nama karanani bhavanti kani vaikrita dhvanayaha. So these vaikrita dhvanis, they emerge after the abhivyakti of the shabda in the form of the prakrita dhvani, and they can be expressed in three different speeds. Sphotatma tairna bhidyate, but the original arthavachaka, so the meaning does not change, right? I mean, whatever speed you tell the same thing, the three vrittis or anything, the actual this thing will not change. So sphotatma taihi na bhidyate iti tadarthaha. Atra idam bodhyam kenachit ghatam anaya iti vaikharinadaha prayuktaha. So coming to the level of how actually we tell and understand words. Okay, so we understood that there is a sphota which is the actual arthavachaka, and it is through the madhyama nada which cannot be heard. So for communication or for others, we have to express it through vaikhari. So madhyama vaikharibhyam nadaha bhavati tatra vaikhari nadaha nirarthakaha vastutaha spota vyanjakaha madhyama nadaha. Kenachit ghatam anaya iti vaikhari nadaha prayuktaha. So ghatam anaya iti kaschid vadati. Te shabdaha Vaikhari dhvanayah eva. So that is actually Vaikhari because you are able to hear it. Vaikhari nadah prayuktaha. Sa kenachit shrotrendriyena grihitaha. Those words are captured through the ears of somebody else. Sanadaha. So now how does this nada, this is actually Vaikhari. So how does this lead to Shabda Bodha? Because Vaikhari does not carry a meaning of its own. How does it lead to Shabda Bodha? Sanadaha, Vaikharyaha nadaha, Indriyadvara Buddhi Hridgataha. So through the Shrotrendriya, it enters the Buddhi and the Hridaya. Buddhi Hridgata san, Arthabodhakam, Shabdam, Swanishtha Katvadina Vyanjayati. So Arthabodhakam Shabdam Nama Sphotam Vyanjayati. So the Vaikhari enters through the ears, but it is only after it enters into the Buddhi and Hridaya that it incites or ignites Sphota, okay, which is the Artha Vartabodhaka Shabda. So Swanishtha Katvadina Kakaradibhihi Varnaihi Sphotam Vyanjayati Tasmad Artha Bodhaha. So it is only after the generation of Sphota that we get the understanding. Arthabodhaha tadanantarameva bhavati. Sphutati arthaha asmat iti vyutpatya sphotaha. So that through which artha meaning is clarified, sputati, or it comes up, it flashes. So that is called sphota. Uchcharayitustu yugapadeva madhyama vaikharibhyam nadaha utpadyate. So for one who is saying, so simultaneously through madhyama and vaikhari, the sounds are produced, the prakrita and vaikrita dhvanis. Tatra vaikhari nadaha vanhehe phutkaradivat madhyama nada utsahakaha. So the Vaikhari nada, what it does, though it does not express meaning by itself, it ignites the Madhyama nada. Vanhehe phutkaradivat, just like blowing at the fire. So fire is dormant in the charcoal. So when you blow on it, it ignites to produce fire. So similarly, it is the Madhyama nada or Sphota which is capable of conveying the meaning. So this Sphota is ignited or inflamed through Vaikhari. Vaikhari nadaha vanhehe phutkaradivat Madhyama nadotsahakaha Madhyama nadaha Sphotam vyanjayati. So it is the Madhyama nada which expresses Sphota. Shigrameva tataha arthabodhaha. And it is the Madhyama nada which conveys meaning immediately. Parasya vilambena anubhava siddhatvat. So he says in the Uchcharayita, the Madhyama and Vaikhari are both simultaneous. So because of it, the speaker always understands the meaning much quickly. I mean what he wants to say. So tasmin api arthabodhaha shighram bhavati. Parasya tu vilambena anubhava siddhatvat. But when it is to be understood by somebody else, there is a delay. Why the delay? Because there is the Vaikhari. The other person hears the Vaikhari. This Vaikhari has to ignite the Madhyama, and that Madhyama expresses the Sphota. So there is a delay because of this. So it is why the speaker understands, I mean, he knows what he is telling much before the hearer can listen to it, process it, and understand. Tatra Vaikharinadaha vanhehe phutkaradivat madhyamanadotsaahakah madhyamanadaha sphotam vyanjayatiti shigrameva tatorthabodhaha tataha nama madhyamanadat shigrameva arthabodhaha bhavati Vaikharinadena tu vilambena bhavati yatohi Vaikharinadaha sakshad artham vyanjayitum na samarthaha madhyamanadadvara eva arthabodhane samarthaha Vaikharinadaha परस्य विलंबेन अनुभव सिद्धत्वात् अतएव श्रोत्रोपलब्धिः बुद्धिनिर्ग्राह्यः प्रयोगेण अभिज्वलितः आकाशदेशः शब्दः इति आकरग्रन्थः संगच्छते. आकरग्रन्थः नाम महाभाष्यम्. सो भाष्यकारः वदति, किं वदति? श्रोत्रोपलब्धिः बुद्धिनिर्ग्राह्यः प्रयोगेण अभिज्वलितः आकाशदेशः शब्दः. So what is shabda? Shrotropalabdhihi, that which is heard through the ears. Buddhi nirgrahyaha, but captured through the buddhi. Only by hearing you cannot understand. It needs to enter the buddhi. Prayogena abhijvalitaha, so which is inflamed through prayoga. Akasha Deshaha. So it is nothing but space. That is Shabda, Shabda Gunakam, Akasham. So Shabda always resides in Akasha. That is the Siddhanta. So Tadrishaha Shabdaha iti Akaragrantha Sangachate. Katvadina Shrotropalabdhitvam. So it is captured through the ears through the various sounds such as Kakara. Sphotatmaka Padadi Rupena tu Buddhi Nirgrahyatvam. But it is actually understood through the intellect through the spota. Though the Vaikhari is captured through the ears, it is the spota which is experienced through the buddhi. That is why it is both Shrotropalabdhihi Buddhi Nirgrahyaha. Sacha prayogena nama Vaikhari rupena abhijvalitaha Swarupa Rushitah Kritaha. So the actual form of spota is incited or ignited through the prayoga, that is the Vaikhari nada. Okay. Tatrapi shakyatvasya iva shaktatavatchedikayaha varna pada vakyaniஷ்ಠ jatehe vachakatvam. So tatrapi nama in the spota also. So even within the spota we have the differences. So is it the jativada or the vyakti? So in the normal things, so there is a general thing, jativada and vyaktivada. So the padartha, is it jati or vyakti? What is it? Say ghatamanaya. So the word ghata, does it mean the individual pot or does it mean the class of pots as a whole? Okay. So jati vishishta vyaktau shaktihi iti Mimamsakanam Siddhantah. So it represents the class but also the individual. So atrapi varna pada vakyanishta jateha vachakatvam. So even though there are individual letters or individual words or individual sentences, tadgata jateha vachakatvam. So initially we saw that the upadhi of the individual letter or word or vakya is seen or is reflected in the spota. Also the jati, the varna jati, pada jati and vakya jati is also reflected in the spota. So that is what we call the if you remember, the opening itself was tatra varna pada vakya bhedena spotah tridha tatrapi jati vyakti bhedena. So when the individual letters or words or vakya are treated as upadhi, you have the vyakti spota. But when the jati within them, that is when the class of words or letters or sentences is taken, then we have the jatehe vachakatvam. So padajatehe, varnajatehe, vakyajaterva vachakatvam svikriyate. So taduktam aneka vyaktyabhivyangya jatispota iti smrita. So expressed through infinite individual vyaktis, the jati itself is treated as spota. Okay, so that is the other three kinds of spota. And you already have the akhanda pada spota and the akhanda vakya spota. Tasmat ashtavida spotatmaka shabdaha vrityashrayaha. So the first question raised in the spota nirupana was nanu koyam vrityashraya shabdaha. So what is this shabda which is the ashraya for vritti? It is nothing but spota which appears as 8 different types. Okay, so the 7 different types are all due to upadhi bheda, as we saw. So the individual letters getting reflected gave rise to the varna spota, pada spota, vakya spota, etc. And then the jati within them is taken. So there we have the varna jati spota, pada jati spota, vakya jati spota. So akhandam padam shaktam iti mate akhanda pada spotaha vastutastu, but finally vakya spotaha vakya jati spota eva va vrityashrayaha. So akhanda vakya spotaha, the entire vakya as one, or not even the individual vakya but the akhanda vakya jati. So the one class which is in a undivided vakya is vrityashrayaha. Tata eva loke arthabodhaha, and it is that which produces meaning in artha. Ityadi uktatvad iti sarvam sustham. So thus everything is fine according to him. It is spota nirupanam. So with this he ends the discussion on spota. Okay. Any questions? So there is actually much more detailed thinking on Spota, which is expressed in Vakyapadiya and also in Laghu Manjusha. But the Parama Laghu Manjusha is Parama Laghi. Okay, so in brief, this is the discussion on Spota. Any questions? Paul?
Yes, Swamiji, there's sport. There's many, um, seems to be many ideas about sport that it's bringing about. But how would you just define spota so that I could get just a clear conception of it?
Spota is basically the word which conveys meaning. I just mute you because it is echoing.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So the spota is shabda. Okay, shabda which conveys meaning. So the thing is, in according to Vyakarna, shabda is at different levels. The shabda we hear is different from the shabda which is spota. Okay, so spota, sputati arthaha asmat. So that word which conveys meaning is spota. But by the shabda we do not mean the external sounds or that which is heard. So the shabda we are talking about is a much wider concept. Okay, spota as a concept or shabda brahma as a concept is much wider than a normally heard sound. Okay. So it is a word. So defining it, it is a word which conveys meaning, but then it also has all the properties of the Brahma. That is, it is one, it is akhanda, indivisible, and it is everywhere, and it is nitya, it is not destroyed. So the different, though we get different meanings out of different words, so having the different words, different letters or different sentences, so they are all aupadhika bheda. So what we hear it all, it's all transient or unreal bhedas of words. So finally the shabda which holds this world is one, and that is what we term as spota.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
That helps. Good.
Yes, Bhanu Prakash
Good morning,
Maharaj.
Sowmya.
Ah,
Once the word is expressed by a speaker in
hmm,
Vaikhari Rupa,
hmm.
the years it will go to the Madhyama.
It will ignite.
So
Yeah.
spota is there for the listener. Spota is there at the Madhyama level,
Yes.
but that cannot be understood by a speaker unless he does japa.
No, no, that is what. So it is, see, japa meaning the madhyama nada, the sound of the madhyama itself can be heard only through japa without the help of the vaikhari. So vaikhari can ignite madhyama in which you are not actually directly hearing madhyama. See, madhyama nada is not directly perceptible except in case of japa. So in case of hearing to somebody else and understanding, you are not hearing the Madhyama Nada. You are listening to the Vaikhari, which in turn it sort of inflames the Madhyama and you understand it, but you are not directly hearing the Madhyama Nada there. Okay, it is being what to say, it is inflamed in the buddhi and therefore you understand it, but you are not hearing directly the madhyama nada. You are hearing the vaikhari, which as he said is a futkaravat. To hear the vaikhari itself, they say it is japadau shruyate. The actual hearing of the dhvani of or the external nada of madhyama is possible in japa. That is what they say.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Shivaram Kulkarni Mahodaya.
नमो नमः
Ha.
No, no. Is it mean that madhyama to madhyama communication is taking place? Means talk, spota is at the madhyama level. Means listener, the person who is having the listener through kshotrendriya only the sound is passing, but understanding also done at madhyama level of listener also.
Yes, for both it is at madhyama level, but you cannot
Both
hear the
of them.
madhyama directly. You hear through the
Yeah, yeah.
vaikhari. So the madhyama in the listener, it produces the arthabodha in the speaker, sorry, who expresses it through vaikhari. So that vaikhari is heard by the listener, which in turn incites the madhyama within him, and then he understands.
Okay, okay. Means for listener also, kshotrendriya also is just to enter the sound.
Yes, it is only for capturing the vaikhari.
Only capturing the sound means.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so we'll quickly recap what we studied about Sphota today. So Shabdaha Sphotatmakaha Brahmarupaha Nityaha iti Siddhantaha. So Shabda is one, a single Shabda. It is a single undivisible entity which is in the form of the Brahma and which is Nitya. Ekaha Akhandascha उपाधिभेदात् शब्दभेद प्रतीतिः व्यवहारे तु भिन्नाः शब्दाः अथवा भिन्नानि पदानि भिन्नानि वाक्यानि इति सर्वं तु उपाधिभेदात् यथा जपाकुसुमादिवशात् स्फटिके लौहित्यपीतत्वादिभानं भवति यथा वा उपाधिभेदात् घटाकाशः महाकाशः इत्यादि भेदः यथा वा जीवब्रह्मणोः भेदः जीव ईश्वरयोर्भेदः एवं भेदः प्रतीयते किन्तु वस्तुतः स्फोटः एक एव इति ध्वनिः द्विविधः. So the sound itself is of two kinds. Sound which can be heard, prakritah vaikritah iti. Tatra prakritadhvanihi sphotam vyanjayati madhyamaya utpannaha prakritadhvanihi saeva arthabodhakah japadau buddhinirgrahyah. Vaikritadhvanistu Shabdasya abhivyaktehe urdhvam. So after this prakrita dhvani, you get the vaikrita dhvanis, which can be expressed in several vrittis, such as dhruta, madhya, vilambita. Arthaha nasti tena sphotatma nabhidyate. So ucharayituhu yugapadeva madhyama vaikharibhyam nadaha utpadyate. So you have both madhyama and vaikhari together. So the madhyama will help himself in the shabda bodha, whereas the vaikhari will help the others for shabda bodha. Shrotuhu indriyagrahyaha vaikhari nadaha, whereas the shrota captures the vaikhari through the indriya, and that vaikhari ignites the madhyama, because of which there is a delay in understanding in the shrota. Okay. श्रोत्रोपलब्धिः बुद्धिनिर्ग्राह्यः प्रयोगेण अभिज्वलितः आकाशदेशः शब्दः इति भाष्यम्. श्रोत्रोपलब्धिः नाम वैखरीरूपेण कत्वगत्वादिरूपेण श्रोत्रे उपलभ्यते, श्रोत्रेन्द्रियेण गृह्यते, किन्तु वस्तुतः अर्थस्तु मध्यमानादद्वारा बुद्धिनिर्ग्राह्यः प्रयोगेण नाम वैखरीनादेन अभिज्वलितः आकाशदेशः शब्दः इति भाष्यकारस्य निर्वचनम्. एवं उपाधिभेदात् अष्टविधस्फोटाः bhavanti. So because of the different upadhis, when the individual letters or the words or vakya are the upadhi, or the jati, varna jati, vakya jati or pada jati is the upadhi, or the akhanda pada, so without further divisions an individual pada, or akhanda vakya ityevam upadhi bhedena sphota bhedaha bhavati, vastutastu akhanda vakyam eva स्फोटः तेन एव अर्थबोधः इति वैयाकरण सिद्धान्तः. Okay. So a couple of questions here. This it means we can hear the madhyama of others through japa done by shrotru. No, we don't hear the madhyama of others. So in understanding, I mean the japa also is not madhyama nada by others. It is something which is produced within oneself. Okay, you cannot hear Parashravana agocharaha atayeva sukshmaha iti spashtam uktam. So he clearly said that it cannot be Madhyama nada cannot be directly heard by others at all. Okay, you can hear it during japa. I am not qualified to do this, but they say that during japa you should not hear what you are telling loud. I mean, japa is not supposed to be loud. It is called upamshu. That is, even you are not able to hear. What you should hear in japa, they say, is what is produced through the madhyama, not through the vaikhari. That is not the external sounds, but when japa is done correctly as per the procedure or what it is to be done, then you are able to hear the madhyama nada. That is what they say, not of others. It is within yourself of your own madhyama nada to hear that prakrita dhvani. Okay. So the vaktas others can hear always only vaikhari, not madhyama. So madhyama is sphota and so is nitya. See, all the kinds of vak, they are the vak tattva, they express. Madhyama expresses sphota, which is nitya. Okay. So there is a very subtle difference between that. So even the para and pashyanti, they also express the shabda brahma, which is nitya. So all kinds of vak, so the para, pashyanti, madhyama, all of them express this the shabda brahma, which is nitya. So since para and pashyanti are only at the level of yogins, for us it is at the level of madhyama for normal communication. Vaikhari does not express sphota by itself, it is nirarthaka, but it helps to ignite the madhyama which expresses the sphota. Okay. So if nitya, is it vibhu? I don't know about the vibhutva. I mean, nityatva and vibhutva are two separate things. So I don't know. I have to find out about the vibhutva. Is it the same for all persons? See, inherently it is the same. So there is no difference at all. There is no second. Since it is advitiya, it is the same. Aupadhikaha bhedastu sarvesham bhavatyeva. So the aupadhika difference is there, like the difference between the jivatmas or the jiveshwara bheda. But paramarthikataya ekameva. Any other questions? So we will stop here and we'll continue in the next class. Okay, so there's one more question. In Madhyama also there should be some samskara to understand Vaikhari. Definitely, see, that is what we discussed during the Vritti. So it does not mean just because you hear a word you will understand it. Okay, so that is why he came to that first before coming to Sphota. See, you have the Vaikhari nada which will inside the Madhyama nada which will express the Sphota. And what is Sphota? Sphota is Vrityashraya. It is the one which is the ashraya for vritti. So unless you know the vritti, then you will not understand it. So just by listening, if as long as there is Vaikhari, it might ignite Madhyama, but that will not mean you will understand the word. So that is why he, see, I mean, it's only when we come to all this that we understand why he went to vritti before reflecting on Sphota. So Sphota says there is Vaikhari and then it produces Madhyama and then you get the Sphota. But still you will not understand it unless you have the Shabda Bodha. So we saw the initial material for Shabda Bodha. Tadharma avachinna vishishta Shabda Buddhitva avachinnam prati Tadharma avachinna niropita vritti vishishta jnanam hetuhu. So that vritti vishishta jnanam should be there. So the vritti vishishta jnana requires the vritti graha and svavishayaka, udbuddha samskara and svavishayaka padajnana. So that jnana in which there is the previous graha of vritti and an udbuddha samskara related to that vritti and the knowledge of that pada, it is only through all this that you actually get the Shabda Bodha. So everything is required, not just the sound. Okay. So there is the sound or Vaikhari, it is just a medium for carrying this, but for understanding it you also need all that. The vritti vishishta jnana. Tadharma avachinna niropita vritti vishishta jnanam hetuhu. सो तत्तु भवेदेव, नो चेत् शाब्दबोधः न भवति। शिवं नत्वा हि नागेशे नानिन्द्या परमा लघुः वैयाकरणसिद्धान्तमञ्जूषैषा विरच्यते। धन्यवादाः।